My name is Dr. Erica Cosijn. I'm a T-Touch practitioner in South Africa. I've been working as a noise impact assessment consultant for several years, and I've also been presenting courses on noise and thunder phobia in South Africa and internationally. It is estimated that 30 to 40% of domestic dogs have some sort of noise sensitivity, so this really is a big issue. So I would like to share with you my top 10 tips for dogs that are noise sensitive, how we can keep them safe. Number 1, things you can do now, just in case. Make sure your dog has a collar, a tag with your telephone number and contact details, and a microchip. And please make sure that the microchip is still valid and still working. So ask your vet to check it, that it is registered to the correct address and telephone number. And then part 2 of point 1 is take clear close-up photos of your pet for lost posters and social media if worse comes to worse. Make sure you have photos that show distinguishing marks. So this first photo of Uncle George, he's too far. There are 2 dogs on there. You can't see any distinguishing marks, and they won't know which one he is. The second photo shows a close-up side view to show his coat as well as his stumpy tail. And this third photo is a close-up of his face, and it shows the grey muzzle, the dot on his head, and the damaged ear. So if I use these last 2 photos on any posters or social media posts about my missing dog, people will be able to recognize him. Tip number 2, if you plan to use medication or equipment that you haven't used before, it's very important to get them used to it and prepare them beforehand, because otherwise it just adds stress to the situation. So number 1, medication, whether it is natural medication, whether it is prescription medication, don't give it on the night that you expect the noise to happen. Give it to them beforehand, see what their reaction is, because some medication, we don't always know how it is going to work on the dog, and some medication actually has the opposite effect that we want to have. So try this out before time. And then the equipment that we use, like a calming cap, a thunder shirt, or a wrap, people often say, I used a wrap and it didn't work, and it's likely true because the dog was already fearful, and then it had to contend with a brand new experience of being inexpertly wrapped up. So it's no wonder it didn't work. So just to show you what I mean by wraps, thunder shirts, and calming caps, here are some photos. This first one is of Bertie, my dog. He's wearing a thunder shirt. This was the first time he was wearing the thunder shirt, and I made the mistake of putting it on when there was a thunderstorm. So you can see he's wearing it, but he's looking very unhappy, and you can see all the drool on the floor there. The second photo is of Bertie wearing a calming cap. This helps to soften the intensity of the light flashes. They can see through it, but it really softens the vision. This one I introduced long before the thunderstorm season started, and we went for walks in it, we went for car rides in it, and you can see here he's quite calm while wearing it during the storm. The third one is of Bertie showing wearing a thunder shirt and a wrap, and you can see in this photo he's much more comfortable because we have been practicing with a thunder shirt in good times, and he's been wearing it in bad times, and actually in the end he started getting very used to it, and he started asking for it. So it's important not to slap these things on while they're already stressed. The fourth photo is of Tammy, one of my other dogs, wearing a half wrap. Now a wrap is a soft elasticated bandage that is tied loosely around the body, and they look like this. This one is 7.5 centimeters. You can use this for larger dogs, and then this is a narrower 5 centimeter one that you can use for smaller dogs. So I'm going to show you a video that I made on one of my stuffed dogs, just to show you how to put it on. This is the wrap that we're going to use on Jock. So first we introduce it and say, hello Jock, would you like to sniff it? Then we can offer some treats on it. If it's okay, we can loosely drape the wrap over the dog's body, and if it's okay with all of that, we can put it on. So we start a little bit off center around the chest. Don't put it over the head. Start at the chest once, twice, and we knot it, not on the spine, because that is uncomfortable for the dog. Knot it off the spine and just tuck away the loose ends. It should be quite loose. You can easily get 2 fingers underneath. Tip number 3, Tellington T-Touch. Tellington T-Touch was developed by animal expert Linda Tellington-Jones. This modality is gentle, it's respectful, and it is a way of working with our animals that honors the mind, body, and spirit. It's based on cooperation and respect for all animals and their people. So here's a video that I made of one of my little doggies, Evie, doing T-Touch on her, and you can see she's quite relaxed. The one that I'm doing here is called the Raccoon T-Touch. It's a very, very light touch, basically using the first joint of the fingers, and the pressure is only the weight of my fingers. It is very, very light. It is a slow circle and a quarter. We start at the bottom of the circle, move around, and then end also with an upwards movement. You can see I'm moving only the skin. I'm not sliding over the skin, and it's not a deep massage. And you can see I'm doing random positions. I'm using my other hand for support. It is important that you remember how to breathe during this exercise, because if you stop breathing, your dog will start breathing. So audible exhale, very, very useful when you do this type of work. Then I'm doing some ear work on Evie. It's very light. You must pretend that the ear is a rose petal. You work from the base to the tip. And it's very light slides covering the whole area of the ear. Tip number 4. Get the endorphins working, those feel-good hormones. So when you do expect no noise, play, walk, fun training, agility, chewing, all of those things releases endorphins in the body, and it makes them feel better, and they can cope much better with things that life is throwing at them. Tip number 5, recognize the look of fear. We all know panting, drooling, that sort of thing, but there are also more subtle signs that dogs can give it. Here are some photos to show you. The first one is Bertie, and these are his ears from behind. You can see they are extremely tight. The next photo is Tammy, and you can see her tongue is so tight it almost forms a spoon at the edge of the tongue. You can see her ears are very, very tight. You can see she's shedding hair all over the place. That's really scared. And then the third photo is of my dog Renee, and here you can see whale eye. In other words, you can see the white of the eye. The eye is very wide open. You can see that stiff tongue and the ears that are very stiff as well. So also look for these smaller signs, more subtle signs of fear that they show us. Tip number 6, manage the environment. Draw curtains, close outside doors and windows, and switch lights on. Not very bright lights, make it soft lights. We draw the curtains because it makes the room a soft room. In other words, it does absorb some of the sound that comes in, so it does mitigate the impact of the noise slightly. Close outside doors and windows so that the dog can't escape. If they are in a state of fear, they can't think clearly, and they will not come if you call them, so keep them safe inside. The soft light also mitigates the impact of the light flashes, but keep it soft. Don't do harsh lights. Some dogs are actually scared of the dark, and the lights on help them to cope better. Tip number 7, gentle sounds. If dogs are already anxious, you want the sounds to calm them. It doesn't really work too well when you try to drown out the noise by creating another noise. Remember, they have excellent hearing, so they can hear very well. They don't need to be so loud. They don't need loud drowning out other loud. It just makes everything louder. So there are 2 ways that you can create an auditory environment which calms the dogs. The first one is white sound. Now, white sound is a sort of a random sound that cancels sound waves, and it can be a fan, it can be air conditioning, a fan heater, radio or television static, or you can also download pre-recorded white sound. And the second one is music. Now, music doesn't mean play rock at the hardest or top volume of your radio. It must be simple, predictable tunes. The fewer instruments, the better, and they have found that piano solos are the best. It must have a limited frequency range. In other words, it mustn't go from very high to very low. It must be in sort of a mid-range. It must be slow tempo and low volume. It has been proven that this formula for music calms animals and humans as well. Then we talk about the safe space, tip number 8. The safe space, as usually people see it as a den of sorts, but not all dogs want to be in a den. So it means different things for different dogs. Some dogs want to be in a bathroom during a thunderstorm, and that generally means that they are more terrified by the electrical charge in the air than of the noise. So if they're scared of both, you must know that that's a very hard choice to make. Some dogs want to be high off the floor, on a bed, on a couch, or the back of the sofa, and allow them to show you where they feel safe. Don't decide for them. Tip number 9, engage all the senses. We often perceive a noisy event as one sense being impacted only, but many of these events, almost actually all noise events, have a multisensory impact. So if we look at fireworks, for example, it impacts on our sight. There are flashes of light. It impacts on our hearing. There are loud bangs, whistles, prolonged crackling sounds. Fireworks specifically has a smell to it, gunpowder and sulfur. There's a taste. Remember, dogs' smell and taste senses are very closely interlinked. And then there's also an impact on the touch, on the skin of the dog. Both thunderstorms and fireworks create shock waves and vibration. So all of the normal 5 senses are impacted. So we need to address each of these senses in isolation. Well, not in isolation, but we need to address them specifically. So what can we do to mitigate the sight, the flashes of lights? We can close the curtains. We can switch on a soft light. We can use a calming cap. In terms of hearing, we can play music or white sound. In terms of smell, we can use pheromones or aromatherapy. Just be careful when you use aromatherapy. Just check with somebody who is a qualified aromatherapist, because not all essential oils are safe for dogs. For the taste sense, you can use tasty chews if they are able to eat. And for the touch sense, you can use Tellington T-Touch, wraps, thunder shirts. All of those engage the sense of touch on the body and can mitigate that impact of shock waves and vibration from the noise event. And the last step, number 10, be present. Be as neutral as possible. So being neutral doesn't mean ignore the dog. Being neutral means that you are there, you acknowledge, you comfort, but you don't cause more panic in the process. So very often people say, oh, my poor baby, you must be so scared. And obviously the poor baby is going to think, mommy is scared, I maybe have reason to be scared as well. So be neutral and don't ignore your dog. And remember to breathe. An audible exhale really helps relaxing your body. Once the dog sees you are relaxed, they will also relax and start being comfortable. Thank you.